Hi, just before you sit and join us for our chat today, just a trigger warning. We're going to be talking about grief and loss. Welcome to Secret Women's Business, the podcast, where we're going to talk about boobs, bras, body image, and whatever else takes our fancy.
I'm a woman of a certain age.
Grief comes in many forms.
It does.
Yeah, at this age, we've all lost somebody. We've also lost something.
Yeah, well, that's very true too.
I remember losing my waistline. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, but, let's just make a joke out of everything, Pauline, because that's what you do, because it helps you with your feelings of loss and grief.
Yes.
I actually remember the day I lost my waistline, and that was 1 week to the day after I turned 40, where I used to have this hourglass figure and now I don't. Now, in my life, if that was all I had to grieve, that would be okay.
Yeah, that's true. Wouldn't be much to worry about, would it?
Yeah. I mean, do I grieve now at the age of 63 that my ass begins round my waist and my boobs begin under my chin? Nah, it doesn't matter if I'm healthy.
She's beautiful.
Yeah. But thank you, darling, and so are you. But grief, we've all lost somebody. I've had a divorce, which was not acrimonious, but it's still loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've both lost parents.
We've both lost parents. I've lost my mother 9 years ago. And I lost my father, what is it? Oh, my God, it's 44 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I know, way too young. And you've lost...
I lost Dad 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And...
34 years ago. You see, I'm crazy. So, sorry. I'm just thinking, no, it can't be that long. 34 years ago.
Yeah, and I've lost a few girlfriends in the last few years as well.
Wow.
Girls my own age.
Oh, that's terrible.
One girl I knew since kindergarten.
Oh, my
God.
God.
And she passed away last year, or the year before during COVID. So there was no funeral and they had a Zoom funeral and she was like 56 or something
Oh,
like
my
that.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was dreadful. And there have been others, but that one really hit me quite hard because I'd known her for a very long time.
And, and at this age, once somebody your own age dies, you also have to examine your own mortality.
Well, I got to tell you something. There was it 2016 was the year that all those musicians died?
Oh, yeah.
That was really bizarre. So many great musicians died in one
year. And the other
Prince.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
the one that really hit me was George Michael. Now, I had never particularly been a big Wham or George Michael fan, but for some reason that really hit me.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of stuff, on social media and that about the grief and the outpouring from people about Prince especially.
Oh, I had it for Prince.
Was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But then there was the criticism, well, why are you getting all upset about these musicians? Well, it's because... It's not that we knew the musicians. It's that their songs help us know ourselves.
Oh, but what about what happened when Olivia Newton-John died?
Oh, that was just devastating.
Yeah, but the outpouring of grief over her from all over the world.
Well, she'd been such a great health advocate as well.
Yeah.
It just made it all the more tragic.
And she always looked so young and beautiful.
And fresh-faced. And
sweet and kind.
We were super proud of her as an Aussie.
Yeah. But this is what grief does to us. I mean, I know with my mum, she died. It's hard to say.
Years ago?
Yeah. It's hard to say. But I look in the mirror every day and she's looking back at me.
Yeah, that's a little scary. You really do look like her. I've seen photos.
Yeah, and I do, and I know I do. And every day it gets worse, or better, depends how you want to look at it. But she was a beautiful woman. I don't think I'm anywhere near as beautiful as she was, but there are features there that make me sort of do double takes. But, it kind of freaks you out and you feel the loss even more.
Sure.
But for me, the loss comes in how I behave myself every day. So,
yes.
Okay, so this is one thing. I have to leave the house wearing lipstick.
Yes, because Mum said so.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Even during COVID when I was wearing a mask, I wore lipstick. And if I didn't, I know that my mother would have risen from the grave and smacked me on the back of the head and said, put in some lipstick, Pauline. And this is the way I deal with her grief. The other thing is, I know if I put on vertical stripes, or horizontal stripes.
Freak out.
She would just come and haunt me. She would be in my dreams singing songs about not being able to do that and how could you and you're disappointing me and what kind of a daughter are you, just because I wore a stripe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can just hear Dad's voice. I miss his voice because for a long time, well, for about 20 odd years, we didn't live in the same city. So most of our relationship was long telephone calls. We often ran out of time before we ran out of stuff to say. And he was wonderful. He was 80 when he passed. He had a short illness, so that wasn't quite so hard. But I had time to come and see him before he went. But I still, every now and then, I find myself going to call him on the phone, even nearly 6 years on. Yeah. I still think, I need to, no, I can't tell Dad that.
No, but it's not just that. Your father is the first man you love.
Oh, absolutely. And
they're always bigger and stronger than everybody else. And even as but even as you grow up, they're still bigger and stronger than everybody else, and they can make everything all right.
My father had extraordinarily big hands, and it's not just the daughter thing. He always wanted to play piano, but his fingers were wider than the keys. They were huge hands, and that's the part I can picture so much. And the hugs, the man could hug. He would hold you so long. It was like he never wanted to let me go. And I'm picturing it now when he was in those last few days. That was really hard because we couldn't even hold him because he was so small. He'd lost so much weight and he just wasn't the man that he was before. And a year later, after I left my marriage, someone actually said to me, your father would be terribly disappointed in you for leaving your marriage.
Oh, I would have smacked them.
Well, I'm not friends with them anymore. Let's put it that way. But what a terrible thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
Apart from that, Dad would have been disappointed, not in me, but he would have come and helped me pack my bags. I know that. I know if he knew how unhappy I really was, he'd have been the first one at the door. Yeah. In spite of whatever his beliefs and stuff were, he was, always super proud of the fact that I got married young and was married for a long time. But if he'd known how I felt in those last few years, he would have championed me leaving.
Yeah. Oh, well,
he would not have judged
Some people are just stupid to say such things.
It's just a mean thing to say.
And the trouble is, at this age, we also have to deal with the grief of, the loss of our youth.
Yes.
And the loss of things being new.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to deal with that one yet.
Yeah, because we've seen it all, we've heard it all, we've read it all, and things aren't new anymore, so there's nothing that surprises us.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got the biggest surprise of my life earlier this year when I won my songwriting awards.
Oh, okay.
Because I've never won anything in my life. But I know exactly what you mean. And yes, it is a kind of grief. And it's in our 60s, there's less in front of us than behind us.
Yeah.
And there's a great line in a Bonnie Raitt song, and it's, time gets mighty precious when there's less of it to last. That's what a great line. That's because we're, our better days really are behind us, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know about that, but what I do know is that there's certain feelings, that feeling of expectation like we used to have when we were a kid and we're going to have a birthday and you got so excited for your birthday.
And now it's like, it's just another birthday.
Yeah, I might get a nice meal out and that's it, if you're lucky. But, it's that kind of thing, that feeling of elation because something good has happened.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's a kind of grief as well.
Yeah, but I think that turns into acceptance, just acceptance that things are different, things are changing, and that's the fact of life for women of a certain age, to coin a phrase that we regularly use.
Yeah.
It makes me think about the friends that I've lost too. Like, I lost friends when I was a teenager, motorbike accidents, drugs, unfortunately. That's a byproduct of being a teenager in the 70s, I think. Drugs were everywhere. So, I knew a few people that died from overdoses and a couple of bike accidents. It's funny, I hadn't thought about them a lot for quite a while. It comes up every now and then. There'll be something that reminds you of a person or a place or whatever. But the grief gets easier. I'm not saying it ever goes away. But I think with time, I mean, like after Dad died, I cried and cried and cried so much. I mean, one day I was on the floor. I was an absolute mess. And then, but after a time, you start remembering the great things. And now I think about him and I smile because I think about what a cheeky bugger he was.
Yeah, that's right. It's when the thoughts turn from misery to smiles. When you turn that frown upside down, oh my God, that sounds terrible. But that's what it is. Somebody once wrote to me that grief is like the lines on your hand. You know, you look at them.
Okay, I'm looking.
Yeah. And, if it's the first time you look at them, you go, oh my God, look, there's a line there and there's a line there and there's a line there. And then after a while, you look at your hand and go, oh yeah, there's lines. We just become used to it. It becomes part of us.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely right.
Yeah, a person without grief is not a person. There's something wrong with them.
Well, not long after my father passed away, I was told to stop grieving, that it was unacceptable, and that I should get over it. It was It was a very, very cruel thing to say. Mm. And I'm not saying my grief about my dad is any more than anybody else has. It was just what I had. Yeah. And apart from Dad, the only person I'd lost in my family that I was very close to was my grandmother, and that was 30 years ago. I still dream about her. Mm. I still dream that she's still around. Yeah. So, that's a great loss, but it's just cruel when people try to tell you how to grieve. So the reason I really wanted to talk about grief was just maybe so that we could understand each other a little bit better and just, know what we're going through, because just because the years have passed doesn't mean that the love is lost.
I mean, I grieve my dogs.
I know you do.
And, I don't have children, but I grieve my dogs. And when you're getting a dog, and going in, you've only got them for a certain period of life. And my dogs are my children.
Yeah, they certainly are, let me tell you. They are.
They're very spoiled. I've got one leaning up against me now.
They're beautiful dogs.
But everybody has a right to grieve and to grieve their own way. And nobody can tell you what's right or wrong.
Well, one thing I did for the year after Dad died, I wrote letters to him.
Oh, that's nice.
And I had a little website which I've since defunct, but called Dear Dad, and I would just write him all the things I would have rung and told him on the phone. So I'd write these letters because there were 2 more grandchildren born that year. So I'd tell him about those things as if I was talking to him, but put it in, So I wrote like journals to my dad, and I've still got them.
But it's what you believe, and whether you believe that he's read it as well. He's heard it and read it, and that's entirely how we think about these things. Yeah.
In writing these letters, I've since been told that what I was doing was actually therapy. And now that I think about it, that's exactly, I didn't know that, that therapists would get you to go and write things like that. So I guess what we really want to share with people today is that it's important to talk to people about it, that grief is a fact of life as much as anything else is, and you're going to face it at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to your friends about it.
Share your tears.
Share your tears, absolutely. Don't hide your grief.
Get a hug.
Yes, do all of those things. And, if really need to, don't forget Lifeline is there to talk to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
In the meantime, have a fantastic night. Like and subscribe.
Bye.
Really and true.